while 7 remain hospitalized. 3 of the 7 remain in serious condition. Those 14 patients comprise of 12 adults and 2 children. 12 adults and 2 children. Of those 14 patients, some self-rescued or were able to exit the structure on their own. Others were assisted by fellow residents. We have learned that one of the residents jumped from a second-story window and exited the building that way, and at least one was assisted out of the building by fire rescue personnel. An update on the site operations to this point today. The shoring in the basement is complete. Canine search occurred this morning, and the canine alerted in the front left corner of the building this morning and has alerted in a similar area at the lunchtime break. We continue to operate under the belief that there is somebody in that area that the dog is alerting on, and to continue to work to find that person. Again, there are no reports of unaccounted for people from the structure. We're working under the base of the dog's alerts. We're removing debris from the front left corner of that building by hand until we have that area down to the ground in the dirt, so we can rule out anybody who's underneath the rubble. Operations in the basement. We have located a cut gas pipe in the basement. We are continuing to work to determine the source of ignition, and we are working multiple theories at this time and work on the evidence until there is a conclusive point for the source of ignition. Age of the building. Building was constructed, the records indicate, 1971. There are no mercury gas meters in this structure. Past calls to this complex. Yesterday I reported for January 2021 to current. We have gone back to January of 2013, so just shy of 10 years. Over that 9-year period of time, there have only been 2 prior gas leaks in this complex. One in 2016, one in 2017. The most important issue to identify to everybody in our community: if you smell gas, exit the building, then call 911. Smell gas, exit the building, then call 911. Building status and reoccupation. The power has been restored to the 3 buildings that I reported this morning that it was still work in progress. 2315, 2415, 2419, and 2423. Power is back on. In conjunction with the property management, the plan is to have all things back in place by 8 o'clock this evening and have those residents able to return by 8 o'clock tonight. The 3 buildings, 05, 01, and 11, are posted as unsafe and will not be able to be reoccupied. The shelter will remain open over the weekend for those that wish that service and needs. That is the information. Last point, we still remain with our goal and work operational plans of being here for several more days, possibly up and through Monday, but the work will dictate that, so we don't have an exact point of end of operations. I'm going to go with my left this time, and go ahead.
Can you explain for laymen like me what does it mean that there was a cut gas pipe? What's the significance of that in terms of your investigation?
So part of our interview information was that the worker was in the building working on the components. It is possible that the worker cut that gas pipe, and that was a source that we're working on in our theories.
Thank
say worker, what
The
specific?
building maintenance individual from this property complex.
Is that at all connected to, there was video seen yesterday of a worker who was saying that he was snaking a sink drain, it sounded like, is that at all connected?
It is possible. I have not seen that video to be able to tie those two together, but it was a plumbing problem, from what I am told, that was being worked on.
Chief, is it fair for us to report that the theory is this was an accidental cut of the pipe? Is that a theory, or how should we report that?
It's too early, Scott, for me to be able to say if it's an accidental cut of a gas pipe. A gas pipe is cut in the basement. We do not have this ignition source. Okay?
Where was the plumbing work though?
I'm sorry.
Where was the plumbing work being done? Was that also being done in the basement, or was that being done in a unit?
I do not have the exact unit that it was being done in.
Chief, you know if this maintenance man was a licensed plumber?
I do not have that information, Brad.
Chief,
over here with Dan.
Does each individual building have a gas unit in the basement, or how is that set up?
I know, Dan. I'm just trying to get. So there are gas meters inside the units. There are gas dryers in. Sorry, I said units. Bad word. There are gas meters in each building in the basement. There is gas dryers in the basement. There is also gas hot water heaters in the basement that I have seen. The gas also feeds furnace units in each apartment, kind of near the balcony areas or where those balconies would be. So there's a gas unit or a furnace in each apartment. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
No problem.
Chief, how will you go about at this point? You know you have a cut gas pipeline. You know you have a worker who said he was in that building. How do you put everything together now to figure out whether that was or was not the cause of the explosion?
Again, working continuous theories and looking at the debris that's in this pile to see if we have any other evidence that points us to a source of ignition.
So Chief, it looks like you're looking at human error, basically. That's kind of the term that's being floated out there. You don't think that there was anything beyond that, like what happened at Flower Branch, anything like that?
Darcy,
You said mercury regulators are not used here, so.
Darcy, I think, and when Scott asked that question, I said we do not have the ability to connect that it was a human error that caused the explosion. We have a cut gas pipe in the basement. Okay, we're still working theories.
And as far as the search that's going on, so as far as the dogs, are they looking for survivor or are they looking for remains?
These are human remains dogs that are operating today and giving us the alerts.
So you do believe that there is a fatality, possibly involuntary?
So the human remain dog is trained to very small amount of human remains as their training tool. We hope that we're dealing with components, clothing, or other items that belong to occupants in this building that are giving us these alerts for the dogs. But as I said earlier, we want to rule out that there was somebody on the exterior of the building that was in front of the building at the time of the blast. And until we're down to the bare ground and all the debris is removed, we can't rule that point out. Everybody in the building has accounted for, and we have no unaccounted for occupants from the building.
Can you, I was confused, the two alerts that the human remains dog gave, are they in the same place? You said one was in the front, left, or?
So the dog, the alerts today were similar to the alerts from the yesterday's dog, and it was different dogs, yesterday to today, and then the alerts this morning to lunchtime are in similar areas. Understand the wind as well as the atmospheric conditions changes what the dog is going to smell and where as the scent will travel.
So
We find them to be related.
So could it be two different possible people?
We find
or-
the alerts to be related, so hopefully to related areas to the alerts.
I don't know. What
Okay.
is that? Can you explain what that means?
The wind this morning was calm. The scent coming out of the pile may have gone more vertical. The wind this afternoon is out of the east. thus making the scent come out of the pile and the debris field more towards this side of the building or that side of the building.
So same scent, but maybe smelled two different places?
Correct, based upon the wind and the conditions this afternoon.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you for helping to clarify.
Chief, you mentioned that the gas leaks that were reported in 2016 and 17, would you happen to have information about the last time Washington Gas did an inspection?
I do not have that information.
Chief, any way to know how long it will take to rule in or out that there's anybody else in there?
Again, until we get down to the dirt beneath any of the debris, we will be considering that we have a victim. Once we get to the grass, the dirt beneath all of that rubble pile, then I will be able to say there is nobody harmed on the front of this building.
Do you think that's hours long, days long? Do you have any idea?
I don't want to speculate on that.
Chief, this may be a question for somebody with you, not you. I don't know if they're going to talk as well, but we heard some frustration from residents that they were having trouble linking up with the help they need and to get places to stay, get their things, that sort of thing. Can anybody update us on efforts to try to make sure that they're all taken care of?
All right. Would you like that, Mary?
Well, there's a lot. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people asking that same question, especially the ones in those buildings that are not able to be inhabited. Or does that mean they'll never be able to go back in?
So one of the questions I can answer your question about the three buildings. 2405, the blast building, is significantly a danger, and it is very likely that those folks will not be able to go back in any time soon to get any belongings. 2401 and 2411, we are looking at the opportunities to get people escorted or with fire rescue personnel retrieving the components out of those two buildings. And it may be possible that that occurs tomorrow. But again, those buildings were deemed unsafe for occupancy. And we're working to make a plan for that. So I hope that helped
Yes,
you
I
on that
did,
question.
yes. And can you
Sure. So my name is Mary Anderson. I'm the Public Information Officer for Montgomery County Health and Human Services. So our role is in the area of mass care, along with our very important partners, the Red Cross. So yesterday we had a family registration and reunification center across the street at the Cofield Community Center. That's so that we can identify the households, how many, the ages, immediate needs, do they have some place to stay, all of that kind of thing. We also had crisis counselors there, as well as child and adolescent behavioral health folks there as well. We could not have an overnight shelter there because that's currently being used as one of our temporary homeless shelters until everybody moves into a new building Monday. So that's why we opened the shelter at the White Oak Community Center. Last night we had less than 5 people come to the shelter. Today we're up to about 15 people who have come there. We have what are called navigators who are calling every single household, starting with the households in the buildings that won't be inhabited again, to check in on them. We have housing folks looking for permanent housing. Right now the immediate needs are shelter and food, which is being provided via the Red Cross at the White Oak Recreation Center. We will probably set up a disaster assistance program Monday or Tuesday that will, I'm not sure where that's going to be yet. That's where residents will have all kinds of services right there, both HHS benefit services.
I'm sorry, I lost count of how many people asked me to ask the county this. There's nothing here, there's no information here. There isn't even a bathroom here, there isn't a place to get warm here. People are naturally coming here to hear, can I get in my apartment? And they can get a slice of pizza, but they can't get any information. Most of them didn't even know there was a shelter in White Oak. So do you plan to have somebody on the ground here to connect these people who are coming to try and get their medicine, their passports here There's nobody here. Do you plan to have information, a point of contact here?
We have had staff here throughout the day. I don't know where exactly. I can tell you that you can get emergency help for immediate needs such as medications either by going to the shelter or,
But a lot of people
hang
don't
on a second, I have a telephone number as well. I know for a fact we've helped people get emergency medication. I've seen that in action at least 3 times. Hang on a moment, I'm getting you a phone number. So if they are not able to go to, now let me find it, they're not able to get to the White Oak Center, they can either call or text 240-447-2693. I'll repeat that, 240-447-2693. HHS probably has 20 to 30 people working on this. We encouraged people yesterday to register with us. We provided ride-on buses to get out to the shelter. We didn't see a lot of uptake in that. Many people go and stay with relatives or friends. Help is available. We want to know about those emergency needs. We can't help them if we don't know about them.
Hey, Mary, there is this fund that Mark Elrich mentioned this morning. Frequently also the Red Cross can step in with stipends for emergency needs for people who lost everything, literally have nothing. Could you characterize for us whether or not any of these folks may be able to, particularly if people who lost everything, may be able to get some sort of relief in the form of a check or something to go buy?
So I know, my understanding is the first disbursement out of that donation fund, which I think is up to about $360,000, on pace to probably hit $500,000 by Monday. First disbursements from that fund will start going out early next week. One of the things the navigators find out when they're making these individual calls is about that. I'll ask the Red Cross about immediate vouchers. Typically, when there's an overnight shelter, let's say I know people are anxious, they're desperate. Food, shelter are the immediate needs. That's what's happening at a shelter. If there was a disaster without a shelter opening up, you might see emergency gift cards going out right there on the spot. Again, that's why we urge people to come to the shelter or call this number that I mentioned so that we know what the immediate needs are. We're also partnering with the Interfaith Works Clothing Center. It's out in Rockville. Some of you may remember when there was the flood in Rockville in the apartments this summer. We got people to Interfaith to pick up extra clothing, diapers, small household items. Those kinds of things are in place as well.
Chief, do you have the ages of the children that were injured, and were they 2 of the 3 that are in serious condition?
I do not have the ages, and one of the serious is a child.
Any word on any pets that are not accounted for?
In 2405, no. We had information about a cat in 2411 today, and I know crews were working to assist with that.
Is that something the dog would pick up on, or are they only trained on humans?
They are specifically trained on human remains. All right, so thank you very much. We do not have a set next update time. When information warrants an update, Pete will get that out, advising what time and the location of the next update. Again, we will be on site, daytime operations, daylight operations for the next several days. Thank you very much.